The story of the game is Joe Burrow, and he's really the story of the Bengals. He was off early. He kind of got it going, sort of got it going, but his calf is the franchise. Cincinnati ownership, suboptimal. Head coach, we don't really know. O-line, still not great. Burrow is the Bengals. Like, Mahomes is great, but Andy Reid will be a Hall of Famer. Razor-sharp GM Brett Veach. Hunt family, Hall of Fame caliber. Steve Spagnuolo, great veteran defensive coordinator. They made the playoffs 3 or 4 years pre-Mahomes. He's the icing, the best icing in the world, but the cake was pretty good. The Bengals pre-Burrow were a wreck. 6 wins, 7, 6-2. And does it feel a little bit like a pullback season? It does. Whereas Mahomes can get the dysfunctional Chargers, Garoppolo's now got a concussion for the Raiders, and Denver's a mess. Ravens, Steelers, Browns, those are real defenses. Cleveland may have the best or second best defense in the league. Baltimore, when healthy, is dangerous. And for the record, Burrow has struggled with all those teams at times, right? So I feel like this is a pullback season. I've criticized Buffalo, right? They can't get their own line run game right. But I don't feel like they're the only element to the Bills. GM, respected. Coach, respected. Ownership, strong. Defense, good. Buffalo's got a lot of elements. They even made the playoffs right before Josh Allen got there. Again, the Bengals were a wreck. They are completely, utterly dependent. They don't have strong ownership. They don't have a legendary front office. They don't take big gambles in the draft. They can't get the O-line right. They've never been big spenders. It's Burrow. Winning IQ, attitude, aptitude. The Bengals hadn't won a playoff game in 31 seasons pre-Burrow. So Burrow is very much like Luka Doncic of the Mavs. The minute Luka arrived in Dallas, it's all about keeping him healthy and finding people who can play with him. Luka is the Mavericks. They've got a well-known owner, but most people can't, outside of Dallas, or unless they're NBA diehards, can't name 3 players in the Mavericks. Jalen Brunson left, right? Porzingis left. I mean, it's Luka. And these guys are Burrow. And they got to get the calf right because the early schedule, Tennessee, Arizona coming up, hosting Seattle, very winnable games. Then you get a bye in week 7. After that, it gets difficult. Niners on the road, Buffalo, at Baltimore, Pittsburgh, at Jacksonville, at Pittsburgh, at Kansas City, Cleveland. So they got to get it right. Joe Burrow, as he often does, gutted it out, didn't play particularly well, wasn't 100%, but they pick up an ugly win, and good quarterbacks do that. Let's talk Philadelphia Eagles. There's 5 teams, maybe Dallas, I'm not sure, but 5 teams to me already that feel different than everybody else in the NFL, and Philadelphia is one of them. Whereas you could say Kansas City and Buffalo have transformative star quarterbacks, and Miami's got a wizard as a head coach. San Francisco and Philly, they got more good players than you do. Every time I watch the Eagles, except against San Francisco, here's my takeaway. They're just going to push you around. They even invented a play to get a yard. They're just going to push you around. They're going to win the tug-of-war against everybody except maybe San Francisco. And whereas you feel like Brock Purdy's playing well, you feel like, hey, Josh Allen and Mahomes, they got it right. Philadelphia is 3-0, and Jalen Hurts hasn't played particularly well. He made a couple big throws. I mean, Jalen does that. But there's a lot of quarterback stories in the NFL and head coach stories. I feel like the Eagles are a GM story, Howie Roseman. I feel like they get more value than anybody. They get it in trades with A.J. Brown with the Titans or DeAndre Swift. Good player. Detroit tired of him. 4th rounder, that's it. Jalen Carter was a steal of the draft. Nolan Smith could be. Even Nick Foles won a Super Bowl. Jalen Hurts, 2nd round. Philadelphia is very comfortable taking risks, pivoting, and rebooting and taking chances. And one of the reasons is nobody in the league has more great fixtures on the offensive and defensive line. They win the tug-of-war every week. So that allows them to roll the dice on the perimeter, take a chance with a quarterback, slowly develop somebody. Why? Because Brandon Graham, Fletcher Cox, Jason Kelsey, Lane Johnson. You got Hall of Famers, and it feels like they've been there a long, long time. And I thought Kelsey was going to retire. Lane Johnson maybe too. They're both back. Lane Johnson, I'm told, is going to play for years. So a lot of stories in the NFL tend to revolve around the brilliant coach, Miami, San Francisco, or the amazing quarterback, the Chargers, the Bills, and Kansas City. I always feel like with Philadelphia, it's a bit of a GM story. They are loaded. O-line, D-line, they win that every week. So Jalen Hurts doesn't have to play great, and they can be in 3-0. They can lose coordinators and kind of scuff and wobble and not quite get it right and be 3-0. And it's not like they played an easy schedule. Couple of road games. Tampa was hot. New England's always tough on the road. Miami got a little scare from the Patriots up in Foxborough. But Philadelphia, not playing well. Couple of roadies, 3-0. You got to feel great. I really think there's a separation between 5 teams at the top. I'm not sure what to do with Dallas. And then the remaining 5 teams, 2 or 3 vied, got close. I don't know what to do with the Saints now. Derek Carr's hurt. I have to watch the Packers another week. The Jets officially will no longer be a top 10 team. But I do feel like Philadelphia feels like one of those teams. San Francisco feels like one of those teams. Kansas City's defense, this is the best Mahomes had. Can Cincinnati get back there? I doubt it. I don't think so. The division's really tough, but Philadelphia, every time I watch them, O-line, D-line, they win the tug of war. They don't have to play great. Most Super Bowl winning teams will win a handful of games in the regular season where they don't play particularly well. I'm not sure the Eagles, they've had a couple of good halves, outplayed in Foxborough for 3 quarters, and they're 3-0. That's the sign of a good team. Apparently, 3/4 of the team was sick. So that's not great, but they're 3-0, and that's good. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.